Hi everyone, welcome to the latest edition of Pro Wrestling Defined. I'm your host, Jonathan O'Dwyer, and please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell to keep up with all future content, interviews with legends of the business, such as the man we have on the show today, former WCW superstar, legendary trainer from the infamous Power Plant, trained some of the biggest names in the industry, such as Goldberg, Big Show, and the man that helped facilitate this interview today, the legendary one and only Bryan Clark, Adam Baum. Thanks for that, my friend. And so really happy to have Dewayne and Bruce, Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker on the show. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm great. I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much for coming on, man. It's an honor to speak to you today. And so we kind of start on a bit of a somber note. Last week, the Patriot Del Wilkes passed away. He was a mutual friend, legend in the business. Talk about some of your memories of working with Del and your interactions with him through the years.
Well, years. I mean, I've wrestled him and, Bagwell, when they tagged together and stuff. And I think tomorrow, me and Bryan is going to be on the show that he was on. And it's just not about wrestling. It's different walks of life, different people involved, so it's just not about wrestling. So it's a good thing.
Yeah, he was an amazing man, and he was pivotal in this show even happening. He was my first guest that aired on the show, and just all my interactions with him were so positive. He was such a lovely man. And
well, I see him right behind you.
Yeah. Got him up here. Yeah, I got that from a signing and the DVD over here of his life story.
Right. And I also posted my matches and stuff online just in memory for him. So, so I miss him a lot. And it's so funny. I talked to him like the day before, and he was talking to me about coming on the show. And then like the next day I was driving and Bryan Clark called me, Adam Baum and Chronic and all that stuff. And I had to pull over in a parking lot and he told me what happened. I was in shock. So, I mean, what a great guy, and he had his children and, he had grandchildren, 5 grandchildren and stuff. So he was a well-liked person in the business, get along with at any point in time, where some of the other people, they start believing their own stuff. And then, that's the way it goes.
Yeah, he was an amazing man, and we send our thoughts and prayers out to his family and close friends. And rest in peace, Del the Patriot Wilkes.
I couldn't get up there. I sent a tree. So I figured that way their family, every time they come outside, they'd see it and remember him. So.
Oh, that's cool, man. And, So let's get into your story. Talk about your background and how you gravitated towards wrestling in the beginning.
Well, I was like a 4-star athlete in high school and stuff. And then after that, I got in the Coast Guard. And then when I was young, this is really what got me started. My grandfather, he took me down to Griffin, Georgia, and they used to run a afternoon show in Griffin and then run the Omni at night. So that's how I got involved with it. So I've been watching a long time. Big friends of Gordon Soley and, all through thing. And I was, and I ain't gonna tell you I didn't work my butt off, but I did. And that's why I did everything I did at the power plant. Cause you get, there's times in the business you're gonna get knocked down. And, I've got hurt and people are asking for your job right before you even get back to the dressing room. So, so anyway, my love for the sport has always been there. And I started out at Deep South Championship Wrestling, Jody Hamilton, the Assassin, and I'm wishing him best wishes, and Paul Orndorff too. He's not. They didn't expect him to make it overnight last night, so I've been like on the phone with Bryan this morning asking about him and stuff. But yeah, and I trained a Big Show and Tori Wilson and a bunch of about 80 something people that made top money in the business, and Triple H was there at one time. Been in Life magazine, A&E, Good Morning America, I'm an everyday guy and in the trenches, so
Yeah.
my deal was always to go work and get back home as quickly as I could. So, like when Flair was buying stuff, yes, I had myself booked way on the other side of the hotel, and I went down and ate and had a few beers, and then I went back to my room so I could get up and go to the gym the next morning. So I did take advantage of that.
None of the all-night partying with Flair and the the rest of that crowd, no?
Yeah. I don't know, even Hogan lost track, when he got his reality show going. So, but he really used to be like I was. So, my hat's off to him. He's a superstar in our business. Made a big impact at WWE and then here at WCW. So I'm thankful to even know him and say he's my friend.
Awesome. Early on in your career, you did a tour of all Japan. Talk about your memories of working there, and who were some of your favorite people to work with over there at the time.
Well, at the time, Stan Hansen is the one who got us over there, and he don't help anybody if you can't tote the mail. So a couple times I got pneumonia and I still worked through it. Had a big injury. Did a plancha outside, and the guy stiff armed me. And Doug Furnace and Danny Coffey, I don't know if you heard of them.
Yep.
They had to tape my ankle and get my boot on every night. And I went out and worked every night. So I earned respect. And then I even did squats. Back then you could only fly into Tokyo. So I used to do squats with the young guys, and then like on the ferry when we were going to the Northern Islands and stuff, I squats a double. Red was push-ups, and I could go through the deck of cards twice. So my cardio has always been there, and I think that's one of the reasons I was able to work with anybody, even big guys, small guys, luchador guys, from all walks of everybody that was brought in WCW and over there too. Kabashi, I worked with him. They split me and Dale up after that because I don't know. I guess because what I was putting back into the business, and that's Lieutenant James Earl.
Yeah.
But they split us up, and he's wrestling like first match, and I was in like a main event. So. Yeah, it's nothing like being in the main event with Stan Hansen, Dr. Death, Steve Williams, and Terry Gordy, right? So, awesome.
I'd say those were some stiff matches. I'd say, were they?
Oh yeah. Well, if you talk to Bryan, he'll tell you that I was the stiffest person ever. So, well, I had to be. So,
yeah. But that's
had to get Sarge on them.
Yeah. That's what made us. Gosh, it just made it so much more special back then. Like everything looks so solid because it was solid.
It was solid. It's not like it is today. I don't know how they remember all that stuff because they got writers and all that stuff these days, and like Finley and Steve Regal and Dave Taylor and them guys. And I love working them guys because. Yes, we got our finish, but we called everything in the ring on the fly. We didn't talk to each other. We didn't, nothing. So them were great memories and great days. So.
And that you mentioned James Earl right there a few minutes ago, like you teamed with him as the State Patrol in WCW as well. Talk about your memories of working with him. What was he like, and who were some of your favorite teams to work with in the States with him?
Well, me and Dale worked together at Deep South for Jody and Hamilton, the assassin. So how the State Patrol came around is that Bruce Hart up in Calgary called us and said, "Hey, excuse my deal, but we need a Southern redneck team." So we heard about some of the things that were going in on the vans and stuff, and we didn't want to be a part of that. So we actually climbed in my Pontiac Bonneville and drove all the way to Canada. And then we got there. They didn't have the papers. Stu didn't have the papers there. So we waited like 4 hours to get into the country. And then when we got there, we went to the places they had was assigned for us to go to. And it was, I'm going to say it wasn't the best. And then we went to Stampede, the rodeo. That's where they wrestled. And Bruce Hart got his jaw broke by Davy Boy on the road. And so we were trying to talk to Stu. We went out and had one match, of course, they put us over big time. And then we was trying to get it straight with Stu. And we went out and had another match. And they put the tag team champion belts on us right away. And so anyway, we took everything in consideration and said, "Hey, take the belts back, please." Well, he goes, "Well, you got to be in Edmonton tomorrow night." I said, "Oh, that's okay. Just take the belts." And he did. And then we drove back. We didn't call him back. Shame on us. So we got to Billings, Montana. But we drove up there and had 2 matches. So, and also, I was in production. I built rings. I was involved in every aspect, sending guys to the ring. So I was very blessed. That's why I was hard on the guys, because I paid my dues and they had to pay theirs, and I made them tear down rings and load them up on trucks, and because you got to know every aspect of the business, I think. So, yeah, that's how the State Patrol started. So we came back. It was NWA then. So we come back and started wrestling there. And, well, that's not my first matches. I went there as Dewayne Bruce, nobody. My first match was Iron Sheik.
Yeah, yeah, I read that. Yeah, that must have been an experience.
Oh, yeah. He threw me out of the ring after it was over and hit me with that flagpole. And I had a weapon on my back for about 2 weeks. I got a lot of stories we could go on for hours and hours and again, and never break out of Iron Sheik. So. But
yeah, he's quite the character.
He is a character. Yeah. And you meet a lot of characters in the business, and you got to learn to adapt to each one. And, and the guys you travel with, I traveled with Kurt Hennig and Rick Rude and, gosh, I was just at a convention in Jacksonville right after I got sick, and I drove to Jacksonville. We was in Ormond Beach, Florida. We're in a house there every year, and I drove there, and Ron Simmons was there, Rock and Roll, Lex was there, Mick Foley. I wrestled him when he was Cactus Jack. So before he went up there and did the Sacco and all that stuff, great guys, man. It's just great to walk up to them and see them light up to see you again, So
yeah.
That was great. I don't think my wife was too happy that I went over there, but she knows me now. She's known me for a long time, so she knows what to expect.
Yeah.
So then we started wrestling. Me and Dale started the power plant was actually in 4 different buildings. So we started working out with guys, honing in our skills. And Dale had had a rod in his arm, and he couldn't, like he did a suplex. He could only suplex him from the right-hand side, so I had to learn to do the fly-in off the top rope and all kinds of stuff in Japan and here in the States and stuff. And had a great time. One time, Ole Anderson. Remember Ole?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Well, what a performer in his day as well.
Yeah. And, but one thing about Ole that you hear a bunch of bad stories about, but if you could wrestle, it didn't matter to him. One time he fired a Samoan SWAT team and put us on the road 3 weeks for the Steiner brothers every week. And he's sure we use the nightsticks on them to get our heat. And because if you don't beat them up, they're going to beat you up. So you better fight. Same in Japan. It was the same way pretty much everywhere. So you had to earn your spot. And I'm very happy to say that I did. So, and I miss Dale. He had a falling out with Bischoff. I tried to help him, but, politics and all that in the business, such as it is, I couldn't help him. So he retired and got out. And I started running my own company, big mistake, for about 3 years. And it ended up failing, but it's okay. I learned a lot of stuff. And I know how to promote shows. I, go around and get sponsors, and and that's the key. I'm actually working now with some independent groups, just trying to give back to the younger guys and teach them. And I've been to a show and had an open tryout, and then I was out at my table out in the arena, and I watched all their matches and the stuff that I showed them 2 hours before they were using it in their matches. So that was it just gave you a warm feeling in your heart, to see that they did understand what you were telling them and stuff, and see them actually do what you were just showing them 2 hours ago. Was great. Made me feel great inside.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I made 4 video games with EA Sports in Vancouver, Canada. I was actually over there. I was over back and forth for 2.5 years, and I actually made it with students out of school. And I couldn't understand why the company would not give me talent. I argued with everybody. I said, this is the biggest gaming company in the world. So anyway, at the end, they sent me Bill, Bam Bigelow, and Conan. I've never been a great fan of Conan's. He could do interviews, but he couldn't work. Couldn't wrestle that great. But anyway, me and Bam Bam was in the thing doing some mocap work, and they had, oh my gosh, it was 1,000-something people there from different companies all over Vancouver there. And Bill and them rode up in a limo. They come rushing out of the limo in street clothes, and we were in the mocap suits and motion caps and balls. And then when we started going at it, and Bill ended up throwing me out of the ring. Didn't throw me straight this way. He threw me sideways like I'm doing a crossbody, right? And I was supposed to go through a table, and they had a stunt person that had to be on site, anyway. So they tried to gimmick the table, and Bam Bam settled that pretty quick. He touched the table and collapsed it. And so we went through the table and stuff, and then Bill ended up spearing me through 2 walls. I had them build a false wall, but I went through that, and I went through the real wall thing, and they cut it out. And I don't know about now, but they had us all autograph it, and they hung it in the atrium as going into EA Sports. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I absolutely loved that game back in the day. I got that for Christmas back in, I think it was 1999. I think that came out, WCW Mayhem. And gosh, I played that for hours, even as yourself as well. Like I remember matches with you and Goldberg and everything. Like, so that's super cool to look back on. I've seen some of the photos of it and everything as well, where you were doing the motion capture stuff. Like, so yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, I got some pictures here too. But you've already saw them on my story, so you know what they look like. So
yeah, no, they're pretty cool.
But I don't know if the fans know.
Yeah, you can show one or two of them there if you'd like.
Well, I'm going to show you one thing I'm extremely proud of. A fan made this for me, and I'm going to lay down the thing a little bit, see if I can hold it up for you.
Wow, that's super cool.
And it's better than the WCW belts. He all made this by hand.
That was always my favorite world title, was the WCW Big Gold. I thought that was just the nicest world title. Definitely better than the WWE have today.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, I had a chance to go work for them, and you know what? They wanted me to do something there like the power plant, and they wanted me to move to Connecticut, man. And I know kind of how that system works up there, so I didn't take him up on it. I wasn't going to uproot my family and go up there on his word, and then get messed over. So I didn't go. And then they tried to do something that I don't know what it was called. Do you remember what that was called? They tried to do something silly. I don't remember.
Was that Tough Enough, maybe?
Yeah, that was Tough Enough, and it made him so silly, and it's crazy. And then Jody Hamilton got involved with Vince and shooting shows down in McDonough, Georgia. So, he asked me to come down because he wanted me to start running some night classes, which, I've done. I don't know if you know, but when I broke in, I was doing a construction job during the day, hanging sheetrock and acoustic ceilings and all that stuff, and then going down 3 nights a week training and wrestling on the weekends. So yeah, that's kind of why I was tough on them guys, but some people said the power plant wasn't a success, but I mean, if you go to the Wikipedia page and look at all the people that graduated from there, I mean, it's pretty amazing. So I know they're proud of their performance center. I mean, I trained Bob Sapp. Stone Cold used to live right there by me, and we used to go fishing together and hang out at a little bar and play darts and pool and all that together and stuff. And I saw him at a Walmart, and he had his head shaved. I said, "Hey, Steve, what are you doing?" He goes, "I'm about to go to the WWF." It was WWF then. And he goes, "You need to come with me." And I was like, "Well, I'm kind of okay where I'm at." So, but the Attitude Era was definitely some of the best matches, I think, and myself was the best time ever for them and us, because what people don't realize is, like, our production truck was showing their deal Monday night, and their production truck was showing our WCW deal on Monday nights and stuff. And then we filmed Thunder on Tuesday and it aired on Thursday, and then of course Saturday night in the Pro and all that. So I've been on all of them shows, been in many pay-per-views and stuff. So I'm really honored to really just the many squats that I've done, Hindu squats and heavy weightlifting and stuff. I'm pretty blessed to be even walking now. So yes. So yeah, it's been a wild ride, but I enjoyed every minute of it. Sure did.
You had an amazing run and an amazing impact on the business. Like so some of the other guys you trained, like we mentioned, Goldberg, Brian Clark, Big Show, Bob Sapp, Chuck Palumbo, and the Natural Born Thrillers. You trained all those guys.
Yeah, well. Mike Sanders, Q.
Kiwi.
Alan Funk, yeah, Kiwi.
Yeah.
But
Sean
before
O'Hare.
Sean O'Hare, all them guys. I trained all of them. And you know what? I'd have 20 guys or 25 guys the first day. And by the second day, I'd have 4 or 5. And by the third day, that was usually 3 or so, and they made it. So, and then they went on and made a great impact on the business. So, I even put Bill through squats and all that. I didn't shy away from him either, And in fact, I had him, Big Show, a guy named Ron Reese. I don't know if you know him.
Oh yeah, I remember Ron. Yeah,
but
he was another big 7-foot guy.
7'2", both of them, and Bill, and I jumped from ring to ring all day long, going back and forth and training people, and and then everybody that we had from Good Morning America, A&E, all of them that showed up to tape Louis. What is his name?
Oh, Louis Theroux or something like that. Yeah, I watched that a few days ago. That's so good.
Well, I'll tell you the truth. I was on the road, and I was doing the ring and wrestling, and Alan Sharp was our guy then that kind of promoted stuff after Eric. Believe it or not, Eric was a promotion guy to begin with, and an announcer. So before he got where he got, so happy to say that I'm still friends with him and Ernest Miller. I trained Ernest Miller too.
Wow.
And I talked to Sonny Ono the other day, and Ernest, and even talked to Eric, and stuff. So there's some people I talk to every day, but then some people that I just get to talk to every once in a while. So how life gets busy and stuff, and I train DEP too. Man, he was a little old to be starting when he started. So
yeah,
I got a picture here. I'll show you real quick.
Yeah, cool.
Let's see. This is a magazine article. I don't know the way I got the thing, if you can see it, but there's
I can see it.
Craig Pittman was he wrestled in the Marines. And I had him down there. I mean, I had people from all walks of life.
Jeff Farmer as well.
Kevin Green
did time in the power plant as well. Jeff Farmer,
yeah, Jeff Farmer, yeah.
I had him on the show before. Great guy as well,
and he did really well.
Yeah,
he's a great guy, and but. I'm blessed to have the career I had, and I'm so happy how the business really worked back then. We didn't have writers, we didn't have all that. They told me, "Oh, you're going to be in this town this night and stuff," and then I'd go. My blessings go out to Bobby Eaton too. He just lost his wife, and he also lost his son. So I'm sorry about that. But anyway, he's doing rough now. And we didn't ever put any phone numbers in a phone or anything. Well, when I was actually doing it, the phone was like a backpack, and you only had an atlas and a flashlight, to find out if you got to town. You stop at the first gas station, they send you the wrong way, and stuff. And then you finally found the building, and it's like, okay, I just walked up and you don't know the show's going on. Okay. And crazy times they book in Tennessee at where the Vols play on a Saturday night, and they took all the barricades off the truck. So we set up, and you got 200 and something thousand people at the football game, and we're trying to run wrestling to compete. I've been in Green Bay before. I mean, snow and ice everywhere. and in the middle of wintertime. And I was like, I don't know who booked this show, but I wish they'd come to the power plant for a while. But I'd get them back for that. But especially sitting on the runway de-icing for about 5 hours, you know. So yeah. One memories I got, and I'll just answer questions from you after this. I was up making a video game for this for 9/11 for 3 weeks, and the tours over in Europe with Ric Flair and Hogan were sold out everywhere. So I flew in to Atlanta. My wife swapped bags with me. I got on the red eye, flew into Germany. I'm not a smoker. I'm not down anybody that smokes, but I can't be around it. So this guy smoked like a chimney. And so I said, dude, you got to roll down all 4 windows. You know, and he's talking on his cell phone, and we're going like 150 miles an hour on the Autobahn. We get there in Berlin. I don't know why they didn't fly me in Berlin, right? That would make sense. So that they didn't, though. So, and they had the ring set outside. So I had to check all the wells, run the ropes, take bumps, tell them what all we're sending them. We're sending you mats and skirts and this, and you need to check these welds and all this stuff. And so he wanted to take, and then we drove back, and he missed the exit. He didn't realize it 3 hours later. So I wasn't too happy. So I got back, and he wanted to take me out on town. I said, dude, go do whatever you're going to do. I'm going to my room and order room service and give me some beers, and I'm going to bed. And then the next morning, I jumped over to London. It's kind of like flying into from Newark to from New York City. So I had to take a train and then get on the bus and ride the bus over to the hotel. And I was just sitting down with my breakfast. And I get this page, Dwayne Bruce, gotta come to the front desk, Dwayne Bruce. I was like, I'm about to eat. So I get on the phone with the secretary, and they're going, hey, I don't know how you ended up there and stuff, but you need to go back over here. The guy can't, traffic's terrible. You can't think. So I had to ride the bus back over, jump on the train, go across London, and then, you know, cell phones and stuff, we're putting change in it, you know, it keeps cutting out. So the guy parked like 4 blocks away, and we got over to his Range Rover, and it was booted. So, so then we had to take a taxi, got to see everything through windshield, you know, and it, you know, in our business, you know, you don't get to smell the roses all the time. You're working. So, so I ended up getting back, and believe it or not, I flew back into Atlanta and went straight into a tryout the same day as I got back. So, and but it was all good, you know. Do you have any other questions you want to ask me about anything?
Yeah, sure. There's a few more left that I was going to ask you. I was actually just going to ask you specifically about Goldberg, about what he was like to train initially, like how receptive he was to everything, and what it was like working with him later on when you actually worked with him in the angle with Lex and Bagwell.
Well, you know, Bill come in, and you know, and I had all these other guys at the same time. It was pretty brutal. You know, we didn't have AC in the power plant then. You know, it was all. I mean, it wasn't the best building in the world there till we moved to the main office with Paul Orndorff. But anyway, had all them guys there. So then I started having closed sessions with Bill, and then with Bill DeMont. But I had wrestled him in so many dark matches, and you know, sometimes you're selling to the fans, right? But sometimes you're really selling to the person that's running the business at that time. So I had him doing, I give him a car. He backed me into the ropes, Carnage hiked me. I Carnage hike him, push him in the chest. He'd do a backflip and then spear me out of that and stuff. And I knew he would never use some of these moves and stuff, but I was just trying to show that he was a hell of an athlete. And excuse my language, but he was a hell of an athlete, and I saw the potential. Me and him actually come up with the jackhammer down there playing one day, and him and his MMA, background, he owned in Atlanta one of the biggest MMA companies. I think it was UFC then. I trained Tank Abbott, Kevin Green, Bill Rodman, Carl Malone. So there's all aspects of people coming into the power plant that people don't really know about. So.
Oh, that must have been super interesting. I was actually just watching last night. Have you seen the documentary about the Chicago Bulls, the last stand? It's excellent, but there was a good bit of it about Dennis Rodman, and he's a really interesting character. It must have been quite interesting dealing with him.
Oh yeah. Now Karl Malone, he was already in shape. They warned him about me before he got there. So, but Kevin Green was a great person to work with. God bless his soul. And and I actually trained Elegante too. They brought him in on a basketball deal for the Hawks, and he played over in Europe. And it's much faster in the States than it was over there. So every time he got knocked off his feet, he got hurt. So we were down in this. This is not the first place where I trained initially, and we had 2 rings, and they were 16 footers. And so anyway, we were working with him, trying to show him the basics, and then he come up with, hell, I want a suplex. So yeah, and we had to do it out of one corner, and my feet would brush the rafters as I was going over. And then once we did one, he wanted to do 16. So I was sore for a little while after that, but he was a good guy, and I got to wrestle so many people, Dory Funk, Terry Funk, some people I watched when I was growing up, and then I'm out there working with them. So, yeah, it was a great experience and stuff. But Bill, he just had it, man. He just had it from the get-go, the charisma that you need. And I got to say, that was the best interest I've ever seen anybody have. I don't even care about Hogan, Bill had the ultimate push. Now, one time, I'm going to tell you a funny story, and I'm not down in Bret Hart, okay? But he come from the dungeon, man, and so he's wrestling Bill. Bill's about 290 at the time, and getting the ultimate push that anybody's ever got, right? So Bill went to kick him, and he kicked him, and he connected, and he developed concussion syndrome from that. So, and he always doubted me, saying I never showed him how to protect a guy. I'm like, dude, you don't know how to get your hand up or anything to protect yourself. That's your fault, But it's actually on my Wikipedia page. And then Batista, I ran him off too. But at that time, WCW didn't have a farm system or nothing for you to go learn at, So he don't have any kind words to say to me. Hardy Boys was down at the power plant, but at that time they were like $1.50. So and look what they turned out to be for WWF. So and I guess they're at AEW or something now, or something. I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
follow it as much as I
Matt
used to.
is. I think Jeff is still in WWE. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't watched it now in a couple of weeks, but Matt is in AEW now. Anyway, I think Jeff is still in WWE.
There's a session on Peacock. I just watched it. My car called me middle of the day. Goes, hey, you need to turn it over to Peacock and watch the Broken Skull session with Stone Cold and Bill. And they put me over hard. I was really surprised how much they put me over. But two great guys, fortunate I knew them and earned their respect, and and that's I mean, after I earned respect from the guys, not even some of the big name guys were. I was calling it to them in the ring. So, so it was a great experience. Walt Disney World. We were down there during the Olympics for 6 weeks, and then we moved to Universal. Yeah, my kids have got to see a lot of matches, been on TV because I was great friends with the TV crew too, yeah, they got, sometimes they were on the air longer than I was. So, so it's funny stories.
What are your memories of working with Bryan Clark and working with him in the power plant? We have to give our buddy a shout out there.
Yeah, he's gone to the gym right now. I talked to him this morning. Check on Paul.
Oh yeah, he's at the gym every day.
He's a good guy, man.
Yeah.
He's at the gym religiously. He's about to move back to our area, so I'll be glad for him to do that so we can get together and stuff. He's out in Arizona now, but he gets up at 5, goes to the gym. Then I dropped off for a while, and you know this. Just all the deaths and stuff, I just had to get some peace of mind to myself, and focusing on my sons, because I missed some of their stuff when I was on the road, football games and different stuff. So I was just trying to get back to my family then, and trying to get my head back together, but now I'm blessed to meet you, and through Bryan. I actually worked out with Bryan before he went to Japan. Him and Bryan Adams, God bless his soul.
Yeah.
Before they went to Japan. In fact, he's still got the tag team belts hanging up in his office and stuff. And this guy that makes this belt is an extremely talented guy. So I'm trying to help him out as well. He's not a mark, he's watched it all his life, and it made me feel old. And so I'm just trying to help him out now too. So, but Bryan, he had the intestinal fortitude. He had he was originally trained by what is his name? I don't know. Anyway, I've had too many blows to the head. Ox Baker.
Ox Baker. Yeah.
Ox Baker.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he didn't learn nothing there. So maybe how to run the ropes.
He said that as well.
So that's when he came down to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then that's when he comes to Atlanta, came to the power plant, and I put him through heck. I did everybody, because hard is something you can't teach somebody. You either got, and that's what kept my drive going. Is that from watching it when I was a kid and watching legends, back in that day when they went territory to territory, and me and Dale just hit the last of the territories, like Calgary. We went to Puerto Rico. And this is after Bruiser got killed down there. And so I had an open airline ticket, and I stick my money in my airline ticket, my boot, plastic bag, and put it in my boot before I went to the ring, because it's pretty rough then. And I go wrestle. So I said, I may look funny, but I'm gonna go home if I have to. So, but Dale went back with somebody else. After a couple tours, I said, well, they're giving us, they are putting us over. They're giving us a push, but the money wasn't there. So that's when I just went back to WCW, and he come back to WCW and worked, and then that's when he gave it up. So, but the State Patrol, man, that was us. I mean, we come up with that. My mom was a police officer. She hooked me up with a State Patrol guy, and he showed me where to get the badges, and we went and bought the shirts and the emblems. All that stuff was real. So, yeah, you can't do that these days. But
yeah.
Yes, I think they should have did more with us than what they did. But hey, I'm blessed. I'm a blessed man. So
Definitely.
I'm pretty happy with my career, and I got a great family, and a family system going. So, I'm blessed in so many ways. And here I got a picture I'll show you of me and Bill.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, and the whole deal with Luger and Bagwell, okay? Let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. That's one of my favorite memories from your career, actually. I remember watching that as a kid.
It wasn't supposed to end up like it did, but nobody told me anything. I was just going out there winging it every night, with me and Bill. And actually, I was supposed to beat Bill at the Sin.
Oh, wow.
And I was supposed to beat him. And I had, I was experiencing migraines and, different things through my career, taking these stupid bumps. And, well, they're all worth something, So I come back from the gym, did the ring, come back from the gym, and I had a super migraine going on. Bill goes, hey, you're going to beat me. I was like, I'm going to beat you? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't want to beat you. But that was just a reaction coming from me at that moment. Now looking back, seeing what that would have done for my career, and that he was willing to give me back something like that is pretty special. So, sometimes I do think about it, but I try to keep it out of my mind. Can't live in the past, right? So you got to just keep taking one step at a time and keep moving forward. And yes, like this shirt, man, you wouldn't believe this shirt is probably 20, 30 years old. I got shirts from every gym that we ever went to and stuff that I was still packed in dressers down in my basement. So yeah. So Powerhouse, send me some money, please.
Yeah, get some royalties, man. Get some royalties.
Yeah, I should have signed everybody to like a 5% deal, right? I'd be a multi-millionaire. So, but you just live and learn.
Yeah.
And go ahead, sir. I'm sorry, I didn't cut you off.
And what were Luger and Bagwell like to work with in that program?
They were good. They were good. Lex will tell you to death, he didn't know how to put a flat boot to you, which if you watch any of my matches, there's no doubt I'm hitting somebody, so, but they were great to work with, it's just a shame about Bagwell. It's a shame about Lex. I saw him down at the convention. He's in a wheelchair, and I used to work for a big construction company it's Shepherd Center downtown, Spinal Shepherd Center.
Yeah.
And they used to work for free over there just to give back. And I work for the biggest residential construction company in the United States now, D.R. Horton. But going from running buildings and going to something that's so personal, like someone's home, it's a whole different ball game. So, but they stuck by me when I've been in the hospital a couple times, and I was out for months, and stuff. But they stuck by me. I got a great friend that I trained. His name's Cameron Beach, We call him the Mountain Man because he looks like he come from Montana, if that tells you anything. So anyway, great guy, and he does disaster relief everywhere, all over the country. So I'm really proud to say he's my friend, and he posted stuff on Facebook all the time, and I go around liking all this stuff, about weather, about stuff is happening, and people that he's meet, because he's done commercials and been in a couple movies and different stuff. And I've been in some B movies, and stuff, but nothing really big or nothing. I should have said, Bill, hey, it's going down. I should give me a show on HGTV, but anyway, it's
hook
all
a brother
good.
up.
Yeah, hook me up, babe. So anyway, I get to talk to him every once in a while. He don't live in California no more. He lives in Texas. His wife is a big exotic animal collector.
Wow.
And yeah, so she's got like a farm. My wife wants to have a farm. We got 6.5 acres where I live. We're on a 1-lane dirt road. There's only 3 houses on my street. So there goes a car right behind me. So that's what, if you're hearing that, that's what that is. So, but yeah, I've had great experiences. Dale was a big blow, and I'm kind of interested to see what happens tomorrow on that podcast. And me and Bryan's supposed to be on there, so that it should be pretty interesting. And I'm sure he's going to have quite a few stories to tell about me, and they're probably they're all true. They're all true. Yes, I was stiff. Yes, but that was the area. That was the days. That's when you had to be. If you didn't earn your spot, you just got back. Go wrestle Haku. Remember Haku?
Ooh, yeah, big time. Yeah.
Go wrestle Haku, and if you don't hit him, brother, he's gonna eat you up.
Yeah.
Great guy. I just saw him, and he looks great. The Barbarian, all them guys. Ron Simmons still looks great. Sorry to hear about Butch Reed. I traveled with them and Teddy Long, too, and of course Nick Patrick is Jody Hamilton's son.
Yeah.
Big referee all them years and stuff, and he's doing some stuff, and but I haven't been able to hook up with him, so we're gonna hook up, and we're gonna film some stuff, and we'll see where it goes from there. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You're okay. What are your thoughts on the business today in comparison to the time that you were in it? Do you think that your system was better, the way you would kind of weed out people that weed out the weak type of thing, like by putting them through the ropes hard? Do you think it's kind of too easy for guys to get into the business now, and that's kind of why it's not quite the same?
I kind of think it is, because like the performance center that Vince has got, they just kind of bring athletes in and just hand them the keys, and and they're not pushing them, they're not putting them through the ringer to see if they got great heart and stuff. And I'm not gonna down any. I've watched some of AEW too also. I wrestled Jericho many times, and them guys, I had our opportunity to go there, but I was in the hospital at that time, so I chose not to. But their brand is going strong. Paul White's there now, and a bunch of people that Vince is releasing people every day. So, you kind of get a feeling that if you're up there, you don't know if you're going to have a job. So, but do I watch it all the time? No. I do go back to YouTube, and I watch All Japan stuff, and not a giant mark for myself, but I've watched some of my matches that I've had, over the years, and and stuff. And you know, I'm just really happy now and in a happy place, and want to keep giving stuff back to people, and trying to help the younger guys to understand how it was, you know, because all they're seeing is what's today's product. Sometimes they're not watching what happened in the past. And you know, if we didn't put butts in the seats, sometimes we didn't make any money. So till the contracts come around, you know. But I was blessed to be under a TBS contract that had insurance and stuff where other guys didn't, you know. And but you know, I had to earn my way into there too. So yeah, I've been pushed in many different directions, learned a lot of great stuff. One time I was down in Universal, and the guy was supposed to help me tear down the ring, you know, and that day you made me wrestle second and be 22nd, you know. So, you know, but anyway, so the guy left me, and all the camera crew and the production company stayed with me, helped me load the ring, because I had to go to Biloxi, Mississippi during football season, college football season, for a pay-per-view. So I drove all the way from there all the way to Mississippi. You know, I mean, I finally found a room after I got past our buddy's alma mater, Florida State. You know, he's going to bring up that too when you talk to him. I'm sure he already has. But I finally found a room when I got way past, you know, somewhere between Mississippi and Florida. And then I went to the pay-per-view, and then I had to go drive right back and then go into another training session. So, yeah, I've made some stupid drives, you know, before, but it was all about getting back home. And, you know, I've wrestled, you know, everybody in the business, you know, up to Hogan, to Flair, I mean, everybody. Giant Baba, you know, remember Baba?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And Stan Hansen and Andre the Giant. Now he was crippled over there by then, you know. So it ain't nothing about laying down on the thing and he's holding on to the rope to drop an elbow on you. You're going, oh, am I going to live? You know. So
yeah,
I had to learn to protect yourself too, and fight when you got to fight, you know. And that's how it was, you know. And you had to earn your spot every night. So do I think WWF hands stuff to people? Well, I'm friends still with Bill DeMott and Duke Josie and them guys, you know, and you know, they both have been at WWE and both been involved with training people. Great guys. My hat's off to them. Bill DeMott tried to be me, I think. But I'm gonna give him heck too. You believe it or not. So in the business, then, you know, sometimes it's all about riveting people, right? I mean, because we had fun. You know, I mean, if we didn't have fun in between, you saw the world through a windshield. You know, we back in the day, you know, yes, if they flew us in somewhere, you may get in a rental car and drive. If it's under 300 miles, you had to drive. And then you make a whole loop, then fly to another town and make another loop. So, so, you know, things wasn't just handed to me either. I had to earn it. And I am glad it's turned out the way it has. And you know, I got so much stuff here. I mean, I got like 3 or 4 boxes up in my attic of different stuff and memories and pictures and all kinds of stuff. And but I have to be careful. I have to wear titanium knee braces these days. I was going to get my knees redone, and then COVID hit, and it's hit everybody really hard all over the world, you know. And
yeah,
my wife, she works for Emory, but works at an urgent care. She's got tired of driving downtown, and she worked for a specialist. So they'd see like 12 patients a day, but now she's training nurses and still seeing 70 patients and stuff. So I call her Miss Sarge. And all my buddies did. I was training. Remember Medusa?
Oh,
Yeah. Remember Medusa? She was down there at one time with me and Paul, and training them Nitro girls in, and their build was a little different. So we got in arguments, because she's trying to show them a drop kick, and I'm like, well, they're gonna bust something, you better start out with a basic,
Yeah.
So so yeah, I've been through. Gosh, I was with WCW for 22 years.
Wow.
And then I still wrestled. I'm still doing things just like in the main event, come out and run. Everybody feeds me, and I'm still still to this day. But because it's nothing worse than seeing two big guys not hit each other, and it just exposes the business really bad. And I really think production wise and everything, how they're running, not so much AEW, but WWF or WWE. Do I think it could go back the old way? No, it can't. I think it's got to be some kind of machine, like it's in between. It's got. I mean, there's still wrestling fans that want to see wrestling, and probably tired of what they're seeing on TV now. So, I think if you could find a hybrid in between what we used to do and what they do today, I think fans would come out everywhere to see. So, I've kind of witnessed it. So it's, when I got back in and stuff, so it's been a glorious ride for me. And I thank the man above, for helping me through this. And I'm not going to preach to nobody. I'm not like that. And I don't talk politics and different stuff. But anyway, yeah, I've had an amazing career. Done some really crazy stuff that I've got a ghostwriter writing a book now, but it's probably going to have to go under fiction because nobody will believe it. So, and it'd probably be back in a section like for $2.99, So, it's called Between the Ropes with Sarge. So,
that'll be amazing! I can't wait to read that, man. Gosh,
when we get through with it, I'll ship you an addition to it. So, and we're also doing it on Blu-ray too. So, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Pretty cool.
Awesome.
Do you want to hit on anything else while we're going and different stuff? I mean, yeah, there's just probably some people we still hadn't talked about. So,
Yeah, that was one thing I was actually going to hit on was, 1 second now, I'm just after dropping my notes.
No. I see Bill behind you on that Raw.
Yeah, there we are.
Yeah.
I met him. Where's 1 sec? No, I met him. You can see the picture up there.
Oh, yeah.
On the right. Yeah, I met him. He came over here. He was in Dublin in 2017, I think it was. Super nice guy. Really, really nice.
Wow.
Huge.
Oh, yeah. Still to this day, he's huge. Yeah, huge. Crazy. I've seen him lift so many weights. It's like, wow. And then I've worked out with him and Bob Sapp, trying to get him ready to go do the Japan of the UFC, and he drove down to where I live to go to the gym with me and stuff. And I won't tell you the truth, pound for pound, I was probably stronger than he was. But I think he's living in Thailand now. So anyway, yeah. I've trained a lot of different people from all walks of life. I've had Marine guys and, special forces guys that didn't make it through the power plant, they'd never come back and do it again, So
it showed how much a person wanted us. They would have to get through that first onslaught. Like, so it showed whether, you know, who was passionate and who wasn't.
Right, right, exactly. I think that's where you develop your superstars. You're going to find people talented and stuff, but they got to have heart and they got to be dedicated to the business enough where they're going to stick through the hard times and the rough times and stuff, you know, but yeah, yeah. Is it okay? I'm gonna keep rambling, but I want you to ask me another question.
Oh yeah, I was just going to go to just some names that you worked with through the years. You worked with Chris Benoit quite a bit through your career. Talk about your memories of what Chris was like and what he was like outside the ring.
Chris was a great person. God bless him and his family. He was great. I mean, he was like Regal. We didn't talk. Yeah, we got our finish. We were both stiff, beat the heck out of each other. I mean, that's what it was all about, And yeah, I've traveled with him when he broke his neck at WWE. Remember that?
Yeah, yeah. About 2001.
I went and worked out with him to get him back in shape, and I was like, Chris, you kind of made enough money, maybe you should think about doing it, because I've seen so many people have that neck injury, and Paul Orndorff, Malenko, and different people's had that injury, some of them were able to come back, some wouldn't, so, but he chose to keep going, and they said, I think they did a study on his brain after the fact and said he had so many concussions they couldn't count. So, and I've had few, had some in Japan and some in Vancouver and different places where I didn't say nothing because I didn't want to go home, so anyway, yeah, let's talk about somebody else. I got any more notes and stuff you want to ask me?
Sting, another guy like you that was in WCW for a long time. What was Sting like during those days?
Oh, Sting's a great person, man. One time I was shooting a thing for EA out at Staples Center, and they had Sting and Bret Hart and DDP, and I was going to be the referee, and I took some guys out just to be security around the ring so they would get some experience and get to see something, get put up in the hotel, and and I stayed in Marina Del Rey, and I went in that goals, and I was about 248 at 8% body fat then. I went in there and there was women. The only reason you knew there were women, they was wearing a bikini. I trained Asia.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and stuff, and she was very talented, but she didn't get to show her stuff as well either. So, but yeah, Sting was a great guy. You had to earn his respect too. He always took care of me. In the ring. And there's probably some matches. They didn't go very long. But that was my job that night. So. Yes, I've done a favor for a bunch. Ice Train, remember Ice Train?
Yeah,
I trained him.
Yeah.
I trained him and all the big guys, and I've had Bill Kazmaier.
Oh yeah, the strong man. Yeah.
Yeah, we used to do a 100-yard dash with a refrigerator on his back.
Wow.
I trained him also. Yeah, and then had to go on TV and wrestle them, and train them, and then go on TV and prove that they could make it.
Yeah.
So, and some of them did, and some of them didn't. So, and Bill Kazmaier was one that didn't, but he was always down to earth, man. Super big guy. Good grief.
Yeah,
he could hurt you at any time. Monster. And he lived in Auburn, Georgia. No, Auburn, Alabama, and has a gym there. So a great guy. And Sting, for him to be at AEW now and still going at it is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I've wrestled Owen Hart, God bless his soul, many times. Great guy. God bless him and his family. But I think his wife had to go through heck, to get through that. So.
Oh yeah, definitely.
No.
And what was your relationship like with Bischoff through the years?
Well, it was rocky. It was kind of rocky. Because I remember when he was AWA, just an announcer, and then, he came here and he was just an announcer, and then got into marketing, and then finally ended up where he was at. One time I had pneumonia, and I had to do a tryout, and it was TV, and they were taping it. So I went down there and I did it, man. And then I ended up in the hospital again. I ain't gonna say I was the smartest guy sometimes. So anyway, Bill had to go to bat for me. I didn't have the TBS contract then. I was only getting paid per nightly, and stuff to get my hospital bill taken care of. So yeah. A lot of people's had a lot of influence on me and making me the person who I am and who I am today. I bless my dad, mom, and my sister. They're no longer with us, and but watching me make it through the years. I mean, I trained 3 months, and I had my first match on TV, a little bar over in Athens, Georgia, J&J Sports Center. But Jody had it all blocked out. So you would think it was a big, huge arena, but to only train 3 months and have your first match on TV was pretty special, so yeah, I can't think of anybody in the business I haven't worked with, Triple H, he was at the power plant. People don't remember that.
Yeah.
They actually sent me to get him at the airport when he was terrorizing.
Wow.
And then, in fact, I got Life magazine over here with him on the cover with me.
Wow.
And Road Dogg, I missed the Armstrongs, Brad and all of them. I wrestled all of them through the years and ran shows with them, and Bob when he got in bad health. I said, dude, don't worry about working. I mean, just go over, sit in a chair, do what you're going to do, sign autographs, and still paid him. And, and even if I lost money, it didn't matter to me. It's a sign of respect. And sign of respect for the business. And I think maybe that's what's missing, a little respect for the business, I think, maybe. But, it is what it is. I can't change WWE. I can't change AEW. I think I could help out a lot, for being a road agent or whatever, but I don't think my wife wants me on the road like that no anymore. So I got to do what Mrs. Sarge says. So she's a nurse. I mean, I fell out here one time. Stupid. I was cutting bushes and we got these concrete planters that were her mom's. I tripped over it, busted my head open, and she put 12 staples in my head that night. And before we went to the hospital. So I'm fortunate. You got to say I am when I got a nurse right here willing to help me. So yeah, let's see. I wrestled on every show that WCW had, pay-per-views. Russell Cactus so many times. I'll tell you a story, then I'll let you just ask me questions. One time they called me out of the blue and said, hey, this guy's not going to make it to the town. And this was in Chicago at the Rosemont Horizon. I don't know if it's still there. Probably not. So I had to grab my bag, I only had one pair of change of clothes in my bag, the wrestling gear. Back them days, you didn't check nothing because if you didn't have your gear, I've been stopped in so many airports over the nightstick and the handcuffs. I can't tell you how many times. Sure, I'll go ahead and check that, but I'm not checking anything else, you know. So anyway, I flew into Chicago. I got a van, a taxi, a van, and I changed into my state patrol outfit. Got there just as the bell was ringing, threw my bag against the thing, and went straight to the ring and wrestled Cactus Jack.
Wow.
So yeah, didn't talk to him, didn't say nothing, just went to the ring and just winged it, you know. And so I think some of the best things that happen is just off the moment that it happens, you know. And that's some of the greatest moments I think that you can have is to be able to fly off the gear and just be able to go out and work with people. And I think that was what helped my career. I could work with the little guys, I could work with big guys, I could work all in between, you know. Eddie, I wrestled Eddie and everybody, you know, through the years. So I think that's one of my, well, I'm going to say that's one of my, I think my best attributes for the business was being able to work with anybody I can. So
do you have any?
I've been in the figure four.
Sorry.
I said yes. I've been in the figure four by Ric Flair and all kinds of stuff. The Stinger Splash. Funny story, real quick, and then I won't go back to this. We was up. They were going to get rid of Bobby Eaton, and he's such a great guy, you know. And so I took him up there to make the video game with me. So his only job then, he couldn't. He wasn't as athletic as he used to be. So, so he was supposed to do a Stinger Splash in the ring in the mocap, and he ran and he jumped into me and you know, the Velcro scraped my face up and all that. And he goes, "Well, hell, Sarge, I jumped high as I could." I said, "Your feet never left the ground." And the whole studio cracked up for like 45 minutes. They had to shut down because everybody was laughing so hard. You know, we had to stop production and everything. So, man. So I got all kinds of memories. I've wrestled the Rock and Roll Express and the Midnight Express, all them guys and everybody in between, you know. So, yeah, I got a lot of great stories, and I could probably go on for years, you know, and you'd be like, "Okay, Sarge, bye," and just hang up on me. So,
good.
But I love to be on here with Brian Clark sometime with you.
Hell yeah, man! Oh gosh, yeah. That'll be fun.
That'd be a blast. That'd be a blast.
Oh yeah, we definitely have to get that.
And I could arrange some power plant guys to be, you know, to be in the thing, and just because I had some people. That's sometimes they remember what I did, but they remember the power plant, you know, so much, you know, and sometimes that's the first question I get asked, you know, is like, "Hey, I know about your career, but tell me about the power plant," you know, and stuff. And, you know, and I'm still friends with all them guys and stuff. And we're all working together. They wanted to do something down in Jacksonville where they did just a round table of us, me and the power plant guys together and talking stories and just telling what everybody had to go through and roasting Sarge, by the way. Yeah, me and Bryan could go on for, but we take your whole podcast just telling stories, you know, but yeah, such a great guy, you know.
Yeah, he's awesome, man.
Excellent people in this business, you know. Yeah, so there's some people I didn't get along with, you know. I had to go ahead and stiff them and get my spot in. And my deal was I always trained cardio. That's why I was so tough, because if you blew them up, you could get your stuff in. You know, if they're sucking wind, I trained Michael Sue, by the way, and he's not doing good either. So my heart goes out to him as well. But, you know, I've wrestled everybody in the Four Horsemen they ever had. And you know, I've done a lot of special things. So
Vader was another big name back then. Did you get to work with Vader? Any Vader stories that stick out?
Yes. Vader's actually a pretty good guy. I mean, you had to really get to know him and get close to him to really get to know. And he always pushed. He says, y'all could do so much with State Patrol. But I'm going to tell you one time, I was mad, pissed, because I was working independent, you know, and still training people and, you know, working for WCW. So I met this guy, little small town, middle of nowhere. We had a huge crowd, but he could go and he could work. So I got him booked at one time, and this is down at Center Stage when they used to have to lock the doors, chain the doors to keep the people in because they had like 24 matches. So that's a running joke of we always had, you know, have to chain the outside doors in. But Vader broke his neck, you know, and you know, and I said, well, meet me over here, you know, I'll drive. And he kept saying that the whole time. I was like, man, you know what the chances of you getting to work Vader are? You know, I mean, we got 24 matches. And sure enough, he had to work Vader, and Vader broke his neck. So we didn't get too long there for a little while. Because I was pissed. I let him know that too. I can take a butt whooping. I can fight, you know, and I don't mind fighting. If it's something I believe in, buddy, I'll go. And you know, my oldest son is autistic and has speech delay, and I fought for him over the years. Did many different sports with him, but wrestling on the amateur high school level, man, is nothing like it in the world. Going to watch my son play football, my middle son playing football, then got into pole vaulting. He was an inside linebacker, man. I was like, he drove home. He had a little Nissan Altima then. Come home one day, he had a lime green pole ratchet strapped to the top of the car. I'm like, Adam, what are you doing? Well, I decided to go to pole vault. Okay. So, you know, he lost some weight. Man, he was so good. We were training down at Emory. Then, you know, they got an awesome facility in Emory. And stuff. And I could tell some stories that me and Susan and him have been on the road and had that pole and had walked through the hotel with the pole and all that stuff. Because if you get that stolen, you can't, you know, they only take so many, you know. That was his favorite pole. So, but the guy, they played football. Well, the guy tried to get him go back to high school and jump because he said that he'd be state champion. You know, he didn't get along with the football coach, and he was also the pole vault coach. You know how high school works, so he didn't go back. So, but yeah, I remember a thing down in Jacksonville, Florida. He did a mall jump. Oh my gosh, it was unbelievable. I mean, the whole mall was packed on all four sides, and they had a ramp and the whole thing, you know. And I've seen him break like 3 or 4 poles. You know, we still got him hanging up in his room right now. And I think too, I'm blessed with all my kids. You know, they still say yes sir, no ma'am. All the things that I grew up and raised by, you know, they're doing it and showing respect to older people and younger people and all aspects of life, no matter what race, no color, nothing matters. You know, we're all still the same. We believe the same, you know, and it don't matter what place you're in the world. And there's probably some places just like in Africa and different stuff in South America where the security wasn't so good that I didn't go, you know. So, you know, just because didn't want to end up one of the tragic stories. So, so I chose not to go. So, but yeah, I'll tell you, the Japanese people, they plastered everything all over the newspaper, you know, and that's a 14-hour plane ride, you know. So and you see about this jetliner that just crashed, you know, and they're showing the people and all that, and you're getting on the plane the next day. You're going, oh my gosh, you know. But yeah, but my hat's off to the Japanese, very respectful people, you know. I remember laying on top of the building, you know, like lightning hits you, and then you go, oh, you jump up. Well, I had left my passport and my money, everything down in my room. We were laying on top of the building trying to get a tan. That's when we all got tanning beds and all that. We didn't know nothing. We were trying to look good, you know. So I jumped up. I was like, oh gosh, everything's down in my room. I get down in my room, everything's stacked, the coins are stacked into place, you know, everything all cleaned up and everything's there, you know. Thinking, well, maybe in the States that wouldn't have happened. So, you know, yeah, I've been through a lot of things. So any other we need to hit? So I worked with Lex, Bagwell. I mean, there's so many people that I've wrestled and people that went to WWE and AEW and, you know, and other people that had to retire and poor people that's passed away and different stuff. In fact, I found my wrestling book because we used to didn't put nothing in our phones because you lose your phone. Everybody had everybody's number, you know. So we always carried a little notepad, you know.
Yeah.
And left it in our wrestling bag, you know. So if you lost something, you didn't. They didn't get everybody's number, you know. So, and I've been in places when I was training power plant. I didn't go home the same direction, you know. I'd go different directions, you know. And I had a Ford F-150 truck, and man, I'd carve up, man. And if I told you talked to you on the phone, and I told you exactly word for word, verbatim, everything that we do. I had this big 32-ounce Quick Trip coffee I'd get. I'd leave late on purpose and get there, and they'd take it out on my truck, you know, and stuff. And too funny, you know. It's just funny. But yeah. Ask me another question.
Is there a and we'll finish up on this one. I think it's a good note. Is there a favorite rib that sticks out from the power plant days?
Thank you. Well, I've handcuffed people's stuff to chairs, bags, put locks on their bags. You know, they could get in their bag and chained it to a chair, you know, and stuff. And I've had people like pass out, you know, during lunch break. I take the handcuff them to the all lived on ribbon, you know, and picking at people. And yeah, some of them went way too far, you know, and yes, and there's quite a few fights, you know, and I was fortunate enough, I guess I scared enough people that they didn't want to fight me. So it's a good thing though, because I probably had like 10 guys jump on them, you know, and you know, but yeah, I mean, in them days you didn't drive the same way home. I mean, I'd go out of my way 45 minutes before I'd end up at my home. And, you know, because you didn't want back then, you know, like social media now, you can look up anything you want, you know, and you can read some terrible things, you know. And but yeah, it was different back then. The social media platform wasn't what it was and what it is today. And you had to protect yourself at all times, you know, because I've had people been in a match, State Patrol versus Rock and Roll Express, and had a person jump over the rail and try to come through the ropes. And I had Ricky Morton in the hole, and he saw it, and I let go of him. He kicked him in the face. He went down, and then my partner clotheslined him off the apron, and he did the 360 flip, and the police look at us like, that's part of the show. Well, hell no, get him out of here, you know. And I've been stabbed a couple times, and cut at because I threw tickets in people's face, and and then when they turned me good, but you know what? I never refused any fan that ever, no matter if I was a heel, that if they come up nicely and just ask me for anything, I'd give it to them, and kids, I'm a sucker for kids. So, so I'd give them the shirt off my back, so, anyway, I've been in some places that other people made me upset, and I cussed them out because they said, "Oh, I can't sign that piece of paper. I have to charge you." Really? Is that important to you? That money is important to you. Okay, go to hell. I don't respect you anymore. And in fact, I've booked on a couple of shows just to do autographs and different stuff that I've refused to go to because of that person, and I'm not going to name any names. Don't want to sling any mud. But the rest of the business is tough, man. It's tough business. You got people fighting for your job you just got hurt in the ring, and people fighting for your job before you even get back from the ring, and I'm pretty sure it's still that same today, when they're all trying to do one big high spot now, right? There's nobody grabbing holes anymore. Stuff over in Europe and stuff. I think they're still doing it there. But here in the States, everything was like a big high spot, now. And the old days of taking them down in the corner in a hammerlock and tagging in and out and dropping knees and having them fight towards the corner, and getting the crowd behind the baby face and stuff. I think that's really what's missing. Yes, you can't go back to the old days. You just got to find someplace in between that we could get to, so fans get back into it for what it is. And yeah, I'm stiff, and not everybody that I trained was stiff. I'll be honest with you. But hell, that just shows a sign of respect they showed me, And Brian Clark will tell you a bunch of stories. Believe me, he'd go on for hours and hours on end. We rib each other every time we talk. So it's funny, that's good old day. Good old times, when you even look back still. And I just saw people I hadn't seen in 30 years, and to see their face light up and, and everything. And just as you walk over and see them, and stuff, that's really what makes my heart feel warm inside, is to see somebody I hadn't seen in that many years, and they remember the stories, and they remember everything that you did, everything you ribbed, everything, because sometimes we'd eat at the Waffle House because that was the only damn thing open at the middle of the night, Yes, we're getting like wheat toast and egg whites and chicken breasts and wiping all the grease off with paper towels, and you got tons of protein in your bag and liver pills, everything that you could take naturally, and some people they didn't do natural. So, but that's the people they didn't drug test, so that's okay too. And but I don't know how rapid the drug tests are these days with the two companies that's going on, but I hope they are, and I hope they're trying to protect for this concussion syndrome. Look at it, NFL players, how long that's came along and how far that's came, and they're focusing, on the quarterback you can't touch no more. So, and don't get me wrong, I love soccer too. I love soccer, and I follow hockey. I follow all sports, by the way. And but yeah, I want the business to take care of the performers that were working in the ring, and take care so this business keeps thriving, to keep moving forward, and hopefully we'll get to that middle ground somewhere where it's not going to go all the way back to the old days. It's not going to go all the way back to where it was, but we find that middle ground in the middle and make it work, because the fans, if you're a heel and you got this guy, you got him down and hold. You've been working on him, you're tagging in and out. He starts trying to fight to the corner and stuff, and just about get there. And the guy goes to step into the ring, and the referee has to pull him back. You pull him back to the corner and take him back down again. You know, it is nothing exhilarating in your blood as much as something like that. Doing something like that, and then at the end of the match, no matter what the finish was, whether you lost, whether you won, anything, the fans were standing on their feet cheering at the end. That's what we all really, business will evolve a little bit back to that, and I pray it does. And but yeah, I just want everybody to be healthy and well, and for the people that are getting released daily now from WWE, you know, that's one reason I can't go there either. You know, I mean, I'm so used to, you know, earning my spot, and you know, and going out and work every night, you know, and stuff, and sit there and worry about if you're going to be able to feed your family the next, you know, whatever, you know, then it wouldn't be too pleasant for me. So yeah. Have anything else?
I think we can finish there, man. It's been absolutely awesome talking to you today. We've covered covered so much ground. It's been absolutely awesome, man. You had an amazing run, and it's just been an honor to talk to you today, my man. Thanks so much for coming on with me.
Well, I want to thank you for having me. Well, Bryan told me what a great guy you were anyway, and you know, so I said, that's a guy we could talk to and we could have fun with, you know. And yeah, I'd like to get on here with you one time and have all the power plant guys sitting around in a round table, just roasting Sarge and just laughing and giggling and having a stupid time. So thank you for having me. I appreciate all you fans over there and fans all over the world that has supported me and has supported wrestling over the years. I just want to say thank you so much. Without the fans, we would be nobody. So thank you, and thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir. Thanks so much, man. It's been awesome.
All right. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. And thank you again.
Thank you for tuning into Pro Wrestling Defined on YouTube. Please like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the YouTube channel to keep up with all future content. And please follow Pro Wrestling Defined on Twitter, Instagram, and like us on Facebook.